Rigo y Calma y Guerra twitched the reins idly, his mind far away. He had laid out his ambitions for when he reached Braemar and was trying to work out which order he would achieve them in. Obviously, sleeping until well after dawn in a soft bed was the last one. But would he eat first, then bathe? Or bathe first, then eat? Or combine the two? And Mira elbowed him sharply in the ribs, ending his reverie. "Trouble," she said, and pointed just ahead on the road. The coast road curved along the top of a cliff here, with a low slope to the left. Coming sliding down the slope, it was wrong to call it a hill anywhere other than the flatness of the brass coast, were 3 figures, a man, a woman, and a boy. They looked like people with nothing more in the world than their shabby clothes. The boy's dirty face was streaked with tears. Rigo clucked and shook the reins, urging the oxen to move faster. Not fast enough. The man caught the harness of the lead ox, tugging sharply. The beast lowed angrily, but stopped moving. There was some shouting from behind, as Lorena was forced to bring her own wagon to a halt on the narrow road. "Please, sir, help us, please. The soldiers are right behind us, and we need your help, please." The man tugged on the harness, froth in the corner of his mouth. He was unwashed, stinking of sweat and sour desperation, grasping a battered, wooden, poorly dyed red medallion with his other hand. He tried to hold Rigo's gaze, but the freeborn drover looked away. "Renegade," said Mira. She pulled her bouge from behind the seat and pointed it at the man. "Bandit!" "No," said the woman. She had one hand protectively on the shoulder of the boy, her boy, and held a swaddled baby against her chest. "No, we aren't bandits. My husband is not a bandit. My son is not a bandit. Mira cut her off with a sharp gesture, spitting on the ground. She jumped down to the side of the wagon and approached the man still holding the ox harness. She raised her bouge threateningly, and the man blanched and flinched, but didn't let go. "You're heretics and blasphemers, haters, anarchists. You'll find no help here. Let go of the ox, or so help me, I'll spit where you stand, bandit." The man looked to his wife, tightened his grip for a moment, opened his mouth to argue, saw the honesty in Mira's eyes, and slowly dropped his arm. The ox made a low, rumbling noise in its throat. "Please," he said again. His voice was empty, the passion gone. He didn't look at Mira or Reiko. "At least take the children. The Templars will show them no mercy." Rhaego heard it then. The shouts, the sound of steel, horns, distant but drawing closer. The black clouds of smoke to the west that he and the rest of the caravan had been resolutely ignoring all morning intruded suddenly on his perception. "They're not our problem," said Mira, but Rhaego knew her well enough to hear the first glimmer of uncertainty in her voice. He made a decision. "No, Mira, no," he said quietly. He pulled the curtain leading into the back of the wagon aside and met the gaze of the woman. "Quickly," he said. The man made to move, but Rhaego shook his head. "Only the children. I'm sorry. We can't help you." Mira shot him a questioning glance, but said nothing. There was a brief exchange between the 2 adults and the boy. Argument, tears. It was... Rhaego looked out across the sea, trying to ignore it. Then there was a scrambling, the boy carrying the babe in arms up onto the wagon bed and crouching down behind the curtain. "Don't forget us," the woman said, talking to the boy. Then the 2 wagons were moving again, the man and the woman dwindling away on the side of the road as the sounds of fighting drew closer. As soon as they were out of sight, Rhaego shifted the reins to one hand, twisting in his seat. He grabbed the boy by the shoulder, fumbled for a moment, and tugged. The amulet came loose. The boy cried out, but Rhaego ignored it. He looked at the little disc of wood in his hand and weighed it for a moment, and then hurled it with all his might. It arced in the air for a moment, then disappeared off over the cliff. "My papa!" The boy started crying. "Your papa is dead," said Rhaego. The words were cruel, but there was no anger or hate in his voice, just a deep sadness. "So is your mama. Now you are my nephew who's come to live with me because there are too many mouths to feed on the farm. What's your name?" "Robert," the boy snuffled. "Now you are Robert y Calmari Guerrero. Remember that, and you might just survive. Now shut up. There are miles to go before Braemar." They rode in silence for a few minutes. "Y Calmari Guerra? Mira began in a quiet, slightly angry voice. Rhaego was having none of it. One drover adopting some children is the least crime that's going on in Feroz right now, Mira, he said, and she subsided. She wasn't happy, but she didn't argue. The wagon continued to wend its way north, ignoring the thickening clouds of smoke behind them. Game information. The Serrani Duke of Kalino has sent 5,000 troops across the imperial border into Feroz at the invitation of the ambassador to the Iron Confederacy. The rebel slaves that had established camps along the border have been decisively smashed, and almost all have been executed or returned to the Iron Confederacy in chains. The Duke's army is still in Feroz. He's following the same rules as everybody else here, but the slave rebellion has been decisively crushed. You can learn more about these developments on the Empire Wiki.